Hello everybody, today I will be painting Lieutenant Robert Maynard, an English legendary commander from Blood and Plunder's Blackbeard vs Maynard 2-player starter set. As with all my Blood and Plunder figures, I block out the base with tan earth. Apply multiple thin coats to get complete coverage. We will use stone grey to block out the figure's stockings, cravat, and shirt. For the breeches, mix up tan earth with German camouflage medium brown in a 1:1 ratio. Once again, apply multiple thin coats to get complete coverage. For the navy blue coat, we will mix up 1 part black, 2 parts dark Prussian blue, and 1 part Luftwaffe uniform World War II. Now apply Bugman's Glow for the skin tone. Mix up chocolate brown and yellow ochre in an even mix. This will be applied to the trim of the jacket. With a 50-50 mix of German camouflage black brown and leather brown, paint the figure's belt, ammo pouch, handle of the sword, and hair. Use flat brown for the pistol. Pick out all the brass details with chocolate brown. Now, with a black of your choice, cover the shoes, tricorn, hair tie, and any parts that will be painted steel, such as the sword blade and details on the pistol. The last detail to base coat is the trim of the tricorn. Here, we will use sky gray. Once our base coats have had time to dry, we will apply a black lining. I will use Gravelord Gray, a speed paint from Army Painter, and apply this into all the creases to differentiate each article of clothing. Also run this between each area where the colors change and into the eye sockets and mouth. We will use ivory for the whites of the eyes. Using a thin brush, run 2 lines into the eye socket. Now, switch to a black and apply a dot into each eye. Next, with the black, outline the eye, giving it shape. Once happy with the eye, change over to Bugman's Glow to push back our black lining and clean up the face and hands. Clean up the warm white areas of the miniature by reapplying stone gray. We will layer up by gradually introducing ivory to the stone gray. Here, I am at 2 parts stone gray to 1 part ivory. I'm now at an even mix of stone gray to ivory. For my final layer, I'm at 1 part stone gray to 2 parts ivory. Reapply our base coat mix of 1 part German camouflage medium brown to 1 part tan earth to the breeches. From here on, we will gradually add Iraqi sand to our mix until we reach our desired brightness. Here, we are at an even mix of German camouflage medium brown, tan earth, and Iraqi sand. Now we are at 1 part German camouflage medium brown, 1 part tan earth, and 2 parts Iraqi sand. Just a reminder to apply multiple thin coats to build up that color. Our highlight layer will consist of 1 part German camouflage medium brown, 1 part tan earth, and 3 parts Iraqi sand. We will now clean up the coat by reapplying our navy blue mixture of 1 part black, 2 parts dark Prussian blue, and 1 part Luftwaffe uniform World War II. I'm now at 1 part black, 3 parts dark Prussian blue, and 2 parts Luftwaffe uniform World War II. We will apply this all over the jacket, leaving the base coat in the creases. From here on, we will gradually add Luftwaffe Uniform World War II to our mixture until we reach our desired brightness. We will apply each layer covering a little less of the previous coat, focusing on the edges and upward folds on the miniature, while leaving the base coat to act as the shadow in the creases. I am now at 1 part black, 3 parts dark Prussian blue, and 6 parts Luftwaffe uniform World War II. As I want to keep the jacket a dark blue color, this will be my last layer. We will apply this top down, catching everything exposed as you're looking at it from the top. With the dark blue complete, we will move on to the trim of his jacket. Clean up by reapplying our 50-50 mix of chocolate brown and yellow ochre. Gradually layer up, applying more yellow ochre to each layer. Our final layer will consist of a pure yellow ochre. We will now tackle the miniature's leather details by reapplying our 50-50 mix of German camouflage black brown and leather brown to the figure's belt, pouch, sword handle, and hair. Next, we will apply leather brown in a patchy manner. After, mix khaki into our leather brown and apply along the edges of the belt and pouch. Although not shown here, take Agrax Earthshade and wash the base, then apply as a glaze over the leather details. While the Earthshade is drying, we can move onto the figure's skin tone. Since we cleaned up the skin in a previous step, we will begin layering up by mixing an even mixture of Bugman's Glow and Cadian Flesh Tone. Now we will apply our mid-tone of Cadian Flesh Tone. Mix up an even mixture of Cadian Fleshtone and Kislev Flesh. This will act as a transition layer to our highlight of Kislev Flesh. Now mix Cadian Fleshtone with a hint of Luftwaffe Uniform World War II. Thin down and apply as a glaze to the jawline. Next, use Careboard Crimson and apply into the mouth. Once dried, take Pink Horror mixed with Cadian Fleshtone and apply to the tongue. Finally, use Stone Grey for the teeth. Use Flat Brown to clean up the wood furnishing of the pistol. Next, we will mix Mahogany Brown with the Flat Brown and apply in lines to mimic a wood grain. Follow this by applying Mahogany Brown in the same manner. Now, switching to Chocolate Brown, we can pick out the brass details on the figure. This includes the sword hilt and any buckles and buttons. We can also use this color to pick out strands of hair and the miniature's eyebrows. For the base, take Tan Earth and pick out the wood grain of each board. Now, take Agrax Earthshade and run it in between each plank and along the rim of the base. Using a black, clean up the shoes, tricorn, and any steel details on the miniatures such as blade and pistol. We can pick out the head of the nails at this stage as well. For a transition layer, apply even mixture of black and German Grey. Use German Grey for the highlight. Clean up the rim of the base by applying dried bark. Clean up the trim of the tricorn by reapplying Sky Grey. Layer up the trim by gradually adding off-white to our Sky Grey. Saving our metallic paints for last, we will now work on the brass details of the miniature. Mix an even mixture of chocolate brown and brass, applying to the hilt of the sword, the buckle, and buttons. We will now use a brass paint to highlight the brass details. Gunmetal will be applied to the head of the nails, sword blade, and the steel details of the pistol. Gradually introduce silver to the gunmetal for our highlights, focusing the brightest layer at the tip of the sword. All that was left was to give this figure a protective coat of matte varnish. This is my take on painting Lieutenant Robert Maynard from the Blackbeard 1st Maynard 2-player starter set for Blood and Plunder. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.